Well, joining us now is Osita Chidoka, who is running as a governor of, running for the governorship of Anambra State, another platform of the UPP. He's a former Minister of Aviation and also a former Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Commission. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much.
How's it going on the campaign trail?
Tough.
Well, how would you describe the situation in the Southeast right now, even as you campaign?
Tense.
Is it?
Yes. There seems to be a disconnect between the people and the leadership. And there seems to be a series of lack of understanding. So the communication is not going through. There is a disconnect in the communication between the political leadership in the Southeast and the masses of the Southeast.
You're finding that out even as a member, even as somebody who is trying to canvass the vote of the people in the Southeast?
Yes, that's one of the things that I find, that was one of the revelations I got on the campaign trail.
Was this before the army said they were going to do Operation Python Dance too? Or was it afterwards?
Before the Operation Python Dance too, there was palpable disconnect. And the Operation Python Dance too seems to have kind of hardened positions in terms of how people perceive their well-being. Let me put it in a larger context. In trying to understand the Southeast, people have been confused. The question I hear every time when I speak to my non-Igbo friends is, what do the Igbos want? You've done well in Nigeria, you've done well in the economy, and the Igbos have the lowest poverty rates in Nigeria. But you see, it also creates its own challenges. The vast majority of the young people in Igbo land confront the Nigerian state at various levels of their existence when they are trying to enter, say, the federal government colleges, when they want to go for admission in the universities. So, for instance, between Anambra and Imo and Abia, is about 200,000 people applying, 240,000 people applying to go to universities. Now, Anambra has about 77,000 of this. Imo has the highest number. And of all of this, about 40,000 will be admitted in going around the university, polytechnics, and co. Now, you now have about 200,000 people who are frustrated. Now, it's not that the frustration is peculiar to the Southeast, but if you just oppose that with some other states, with some other regions where the same 10–15% people are admitted, but now you're talking about 5,000 people applying to go to university and maybe 1,300 getting admitted. So there are about only 3,000 people who are, more or less, quote unquote, angry. So, but here you have a large population, 200,000, 180,000 people who can't get admission to the university, who see their scores high enough, but because of the quota system, because of the structure of the Nigerian state, people with less scores are being admitted. Now, the quota system was designed as a way of helping all parts of Nigeria to develop evenly. So, but it is the communication, it is the ability for the people to understand that there is no deliberate effort by anybody. It's just like what the Americans complain about, the blacks complain about white privilege. It's not that there are no poor white people, it's not that there are no white people suffering, but the white people are accepted into the country clubs, the white people can vote, the white people can do things and get away with it. The police will see a white man and he will not stop him on the road as he will stop a black man. So when you have a feeling of powerlessness, when you have a feeling of a deliberate effort to constrain you, two things happen. Either you blame yourself or you blame the other person.
You say it's a feeling. I mean,
yes.
Some people would say that that's what it is. Perhaps it is a feeling.
And that's the problem in politics. Feelings are stronger than
Is it
than
the reality?
It is the reality, but it's not the cause. You see, the causation is what I need to communicate. That's where the leadership comes in. Being able to communicate that this is not, for me, I would say, why won't the Southeasterners invest more in universities, for instance, private universities? There are opportunities for state universities, private universities to soak in this demand. So, but that is not the perception. You see, if you're asking the question, feelings are very strong. I made the point that In 2016 election in the US, race was an issue. And everybody thought that when they elected a black president in America, race was no more an issue in America. Everybody thought, yes, we can. We have overcome our differences. But race has become a much more potent category because identity is a major issue. So being able to distrust your leadership, as not being able to push the ante, as not being able to argue for your own survival, creates a disconnect between the masses and the leadership.
So some people will say, I mean, we recently heard the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, say that, you know, in recent times, part of what has fueled this IPOB agitation are, you know, people, disgruntled politicians and those whom he describes as treasury looters. Would you say, what role would you say the 2015 elections has played in this renewed call, it was saying, for Biafra and the talks of marginalization by Southeasterners?
First of all, the view that disgruntled politicians are behind every issue in Nigeria is an old one. Throughout the days of the military, when you had June 12 crisis, it was disgruntled politicians. When Boko Haram came up, a lot of people that were today in APC were accused of being behind the Boko Haram insurrection. But that doesn't solve any problem. The issue is that the 2015 election, the Masob, the Biafran agitation was at its peak during President Obasanjo's time. Uwazurike was arrested, flags were all over the East, and then eventually he found a political solution. They went to court, adjourned the case, released Uwazurike to some leaders, and that calmed down. Now, the 2015 election, for most people, they keep talking about it. All that Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB said about Nigerian state, majority of them were said in 2014, 2015. At that time, many of them argued that the Igbos had no benefit from supporting President Jonathan Goodluck. Many of them argued that the Igbo political leadership that is in bed with President Goodluck has betrayed the Igbo people. So it's curious to me, what happened then was that the political leadership, being involved in government, the majority of the Igbo political leadership at that time was able to paper over the rising storm that was in the southeast. Don't forget, the IPOB issue was at its peak. The radio station was during Jonathan's time.